There's a profound shift happening in the market. We're going to look at it. What is the market telling me? What's up, super investors? Welcome to the Nick Rutherford Report. And every investor loses money. But what separates the super investor from everyone else is they make more money than they lose. They do it by watching the market. So hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, share this with someone who would get a lot out of it, because this is the place to be for the financial news that matters for your net worth. There's a very interesting article out today. The world has passed peak child. If you look at this graph, it shows that the children have peaked as far as the acceleration of how many extra new ones are coming. And this can have profound effects on investments going forward. Now, of course, this isn't some sort of information that you as an investor may need to take action on today, but it's a trend that I would be watching very closely because demographics are destiny. And if there are going to be less people in the future, that means that businesses that thrive on mass production, on having more and more quantities of more and more goods, well, their earnings will peak and then eventually slowly decline. If, for example, I'm not saying this specific company you should take any action on, but let's just use this as an example. If Coca-Cola is selling how many ever bottles of Coca-Cola they're selling, and now the population starts shrinking, the only way Coca-Cola can continue to increase its revenue is not by selling more and more bottles to more and more new people. They're going to have to find other ways to either financially engineer their earnings by buying back more shares or figuring out a way to sell 2, 3, 4 different bottles to their existing customers. So this demographic shift will have profound consequences on the types of companies that can make money in the future. So it's something investors should pay attention to. Now, one of the other things that I'm watching is an article like this. It says the U.S. is racing against time to reclaim supply chain from China. So why is this interesting? Well, this is interesting because it just highlights the theme that globalization is not the main theme anymore. We're having a deglobalization, friendshoring, reshoring. Ever since the plague and the breaking down of supply chains and the wars and just the constant heating up of the rhetoric, it only makes sense that companies are going to want to friendshore and reshore and build more things in the United States. So, if I was an investor, I would be paying more and more attention to this because the companies that are going to profit off of this are going to be companies that make things in different parts of the world. And maybe they won't be as profitable anymore in places like China. So all this is doing is confirming the trend that's already in place. And if you've been following these videos, I've been vocalizing this trend. So for example, something like a defense contractor, they may profit more. Well, something that is shipping things from China, like Walmart, they may profit less because things have to move, supply chains have to change, trade wars heat up, can change the entire dynamic of things. So if you want to be protected from this risk, you need to think about where your companies that you're invested are, what they're making, where they're making it, and how that could change as the supply chain changes. Another thing that came up this week was this. Countries around the world eyeing Bitcoin strategic reserve thanks to Trump. Now this is very interesting because the more people that like Bitcoin, the more countries that buy Bitcoin, well, the higher the price goes because it's a limited supply. So this is a trend that I'm watching very closely. And if you're invested in Bitcoin, it's a trend you should be watching very closely because this is very simple. If more people buy Bitcoin, more countries buy it, well, the price has to eventually go up as long as the supply continues to go down. So this is a trend that I'm watching. Now, here's another trend. Inflation is here. Grand Theft Auto priced at $100. Well, people are saying that it's priced at $100. I don't know if it's true or not, but if video games start to cost $100. First it's going to be Grand Theft Auto, then it's going to be every other video game. And if the base video game's at $100 and you want to tell me that inflation does not exist, well, I don't even know. You don't know what you're talking about. Because if a video game is going to go almost double in price for a base version, well, clearly there's inflation. So that is just an anecdotal evidence of inflation. Now, I'm going to have to invest in things that are going to protect me from inflation. So let's talk about what happens next. Well, just looking at the market and having it tell me what to do, there's really things that I want to focus on. Well, the data is either going to come in bad or the data is going to come in flat or positive. And that means two things. I'm going to have a bullish strategy if the data continues to come in flat or positive. And that means I'm going to invest in good companies at good prices with growing durable trends. If the data shifts and comes out negative, well, I have a bearish strategy in place, and you watching this channel are prepared. You're going to be a super investor because you're going to know what to do. And my bearish strategy is to raise cash, invest in short-term T-bills, put options, and maybe even a bunch of managed futures because they're completely uncorrelated typically. Now, I'm just saying this to illustrate what will I do if the data comes in bad, and what do I do if the data comes in good? Right now, the data's been coming in good, and the S&P 500 is hitting all-time highs practically. If it's not, it's very, very close. Let's look at the 6 months here. Let me just hit that graph. It looks to me like we are at or within inches of all-time highs. So that does not look like a market that is going down, down, down. Now, of course, it could start going down tomorrow. The data could come in bad and things could change. But right now, the market is roaring. Bitcoin looks like it's consolidating sideways. And I love to study the past to predict the future. That's what a super investor does. And it looks to me like Bitcoin is consolidating here. And Bitcoin typically has followed this pattern of going way down, halving, so the supply gets limited, and then it goes way up, and then it goes way down again. Right now, if I study the past, we're in that phase of typically when it goes way up. And that's what the chart is telling me right now. Now I want to look at gold. Gold looks like it's about to break out to new all-time highs. Or this is the most incredible double top ever. We're going to have to see. But the trend seems to be there's more problems in the world, there's more government spending, and that tells me that I need gold for insurance. And a super investor always wants to have a portion of their portfolio protected. And what better way to protect it than a 5,000-year-old tradition of having gold, having money that is outside the system, or even if you're buying it on the stock market here through an instrument that holds gold like the Sprott Physical Trust, well, it's money that can't be debased away, and that's why I love it. Next, I want to quickly look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been consolidating sideways. The chip earnings have been coming in fantastic from Taiwan Semiconductor. I just asked myself one question. We're going to have more AI tomorrow? Are we going to have more AI a month from now? Or are we going to have more AI in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years? I think so. Trump just announced something like a $500 billion AI thing he wants to do. Do I need to know the specifics? No. I just need to know that the trend is intact and NVIDIA is the super leader in that trend. I know the specifics there. It's obviously has the best AI chips. It's growing very quickly. And it's the leader in the market. It's consolidating sideways. So this just tells me everything is good. And until I see data coming in differently, well, this is what the market is telling me. Next, what's the number one stock to buy right now? Click on my bio, follow me, and follow the link to RutherfordWealthReport.com, and I'll share my latest research with you.